was both good and bad to this guy. Chris Vincent, your top qualifier, but he had a terrible injury earlier in the day.
As I came in the corner, I was unfamiliar with the track. Unfortunately, they didn't let us take a warm-up lap to look at the track. Went in the corner hot and kind of an ice wall there. Caught it with the ski and just flipped the sled right over, and the handlebar actually hit my leg, just above my brace on my leg, and really bruised it bad. Today, everybody did ask me not to race. I love the crowd. I love racing in front of them, whether I'm sore, whether I'm hurt, whatever the case may be. I still got to do my job and put a show on for the public.
And Chris Vincent always does that. Look at that visor, a little bit of scans there. That's testament to that crash earlier. Great qualifying effort for this guy, Todd Tupper, one of the local favorites. Blair Morgan, you always expect him to be a front qualifier, and he was. Brian Carr, we're going to take a look at as well. He's also from Idaho and has been very fast in qualifying. And another local favorite, Tuffy McDonald, number 37, very impressive as well. That's your top 5 qualifiers as we get ready to go to this. This weather's so warm, Don. Not exactly the best weather for snowmobiles.
You know, nearly 70-degree temperatures out here. It just really challenges the drivers to set those machines up, you know, so they run with that kind of warm weather. And not only that, but the snow conditions are just so soft and mealy, it's really, really difficult for the driver.
And as you can see, that the whole shot, a whole different program here. Great launch by Tupper, but Morgan, a rare whole shot to the lead for him. They don't come often, and when they do, they often spell disaster. That's 32. That's Tim Mackey on the Amstel Skidoo second. That's Tupper third. Vincent is fourth, and Jim Duff running in fifth spot. But Blair Morgan is out in front, and look at the lead Morgan has opened on Mackey already. He's got to be loving the straight visibility.
He doesn't have to worry about that soft snow and that slush coming back in his face with anybody in front of him. He's just got a nice wide open track, so he can concentrate on putting a great show.
And one of the things, too, that some of these riders talk about is even when they're running by themselves in front, when the snow is this soft and this sloppy, sometimes they'll get spray off the skis or they'll get spray when the nose digs in a little bit to the approach to some of these jumps. They still have to be ready to deal with a tear-off because of some visibility problems.
Yeah, without question. I think it's just really tough when you get this kind of slush and slop out there in these tracks. And you obviously just take today, there is a lot of slush out there.
One of the things, too, is that this kind of snow, it seems it is incredibly unpredictable. What was working in a corner one lap, you come through it as we're watching them hammer through some of the big berms that are building up because the snow moves so quick, it'll just give on you.
It gives, but it's really soft. With this many drivers on the track, you know, the track changes tremendously behind you if they push that soft snow around, and the holes that were not there before all of a sudden develop very quickly.
You can see one of those holes developing in that big bank turn already down to some dirt. And look at this, is Tupper now taking a bit of a run at Mackey, and he gets some. And a classic example, Tupper found what looked like some smooth track, and while Mackey was in the air and bouncing around, Tupper just cut the track down and blew by him.
So that's a sign of a great racer, and he is going to be one great racer as he continues to develop.
He has had some great runs from this season on, Todd Tupper, and it all comes good, and you love it when it all comes good in front of the home fans. Not as though Mackey's given it up, though. He has taken another strong run at Tupper, and right behind them is Chris Vincent, and Vincent riding with that left leg of his is in some serious pain, and somehow Vincent is managing to stay in that battle, that he's not able to do anything with their two in front right now.
They're getting great. We see him out to the sides of the track, trying to find the flattest possible place to ride, you know, and using that entire track to try and gain some sort of advantage and catch up with Blair.
There was nobody going down the middle. They were either on the far inside or the far outside. Is it that choppy in the middle at this time of day?
Yeah, it usually is. And you got to remember, this track's been used for short riders and semi-pro drivers during the day. And many times they'll use the center of that track all the time. Those pro drivers are out there looking for that flat line all the time, on the edge. And we see Morgan do that. So he's pushing the limits of the track and the barriers and everything else to find those flat spots.
Love his line through that turn. He just rim shots all the way about halfway through it, then just turns tight, drops down, and you notice everybody pursuing him right now uses that same line. They know it's fast. There's no way he's riding. The problem is, if they manage to catch him, then they've got to find their own line. I think it's tough.
That's right, and Morgan, as we know, is a master of finding those flat lines out there. And so once you get by him, I mean, you've got to find him and move behind you, looking over your shoulder, trying to figure out himself.
The guy's amazing. He's a sponge, too, when it comes to, if he does have somebody in front, he watches, he learns amazingly quickly what they're doing, and is able to somehow say that's working and that's not, and then find a line that'll work to take him by. But when he's out front like this, you can see there's the margin over Tupper. He has definitely started to draw away just a little bit here as he's coming around to complete another lap. Just there, he went for one of those tear-offs, and he hasn't had any traffic. Again, it's just a slop, I think, coming off and squeezing off the nose of the sled sometimes.
It's a tough course out there when it's like this. Like, you know, if it's not snow dust one day, we get slush the next. And it's always a challenge for these drivers out the front.
And Don, that makes the accomplishment of Todd Tupper back in second all the more noteworthy as he is checked out on Tim Mackey, but he's not able to do anything with Blair Morgan. More Pro 600 coming up. Welcome back to West Yellowstone. I'm Greg Kramer with Don Fink, and we are about halfway through our Snow West Pro 600 final on this beautiful Saturday. And that is Kurt Crapo, one of the factory Polaris pilots, also local from Idaho, running in fourth spot right now, one of the better showings that he's had certainly this weekend throughout qualifying. He's been right there, but a solid fourth. But this battle is huge. That's Chris Vincent with Aaron Shield behind him. And Vincent looked like he went a little wide into the corner and wanted to square off, and Shield didn't let him and forced him up onto some of that soft snow.
Without question, and Aaron made a tremendous move there on Chris on that. And, Aaron's probably setting himself up for that move in the last lap or so.
And it cost Chris so much momentum that Trevor John snuck through as well. And that's one of the problems when you get these big berms with this real soft snow built up. If you end up on top of one of them, there's no grip there at all.
There's no grip, and the driver gets caught up in that loose snow, and that's much more slippery than the powdery snow, and lots of times they'll just lose it up there.
This is a good battle for fifth with Shield and Trevor John. Aaron Shield has had a great season in the World Snowmobile Association, especially the latter half of the season. He has had nothing but podium finishes and was a player in some of the class championships. Trevor John has been a little bit tougher here, although, remember, he is the bronze medalist from the Winter X Games. So two of the better class pilots on the planet having a stout battle for that fifth spot right now. You can see Vincent has dropped off, in fact, under more pressure from some of the pursuing pack. But Trevor John not allowing Aaron Shield to get away, and Shield almost coming off there, and that's that unpredictable snow I think we were talking about.
It sure is, Greg. Without question. And the nice part about this race, too, Greg, is that here we've got some fellas from the Midwest and the West coming together, but again, the conditions out here making a real challenge for them.
That's it. That's a good point. We talk a lot about people from Idaho, and certainly some riders coming in from the Midwest series. Sort of a shootout of sorts, and it has been a good one, as we have seen. And now Shield has shaken Trevor John just a little bit, and Tim Mackey still hanging on, at least the third spot right now. But look at the pressure coming from behind. Curdy Crapo has caught Mackey. That is how quick Crapo has been lapping here. He has come good at the perfect time. You love to peak in the final.
Oh, it's the time to go, and of course, in the hometown crowd, you can't beat this. He's always enjoyed this race.
Every pass he seems to make, the crowd is just eating it up, and he's coming alongside, trying to get around Mackey, and he just taped it a little bit longer than Tim did, and Crapo has gone to the front, turning into the series of corners here. That's the big bank corner now coming to Big Air, and Crapo is definitively by. And like I said, it looked like he was just willing to hang on a little bit, maybe a little bit more comfortable with mountain riding and all the different conditions you get, wanted to tape it.
Sure, and I'm sure the real adrenaline was running here, and again, in front of that hometown. He's raced out here for years, and they're a couple of years debut now in the pro classes.
It's been very fast, and I think you're right with the adrenaline coming, because now he's third, and believe me, they know where they are on this track, and he's in a podium in front of that crowd. He's going to be loving this. Do that first turn, watch him work some of these bumpers. Look at that. That is a very Blair Morgan move, and a lot of these other riders are starting to pick it up. When you get these big holes now, it looks like, and Morgan really set the standard with this, if you jump over two or three of them, you're not going up and down and really going slow through them. It really helps you gain some time.
It sure does. He gets into a rhythm out there. So if they can make some time up on those jumps like that and cover that track, and you don't always have to get big gear. Keep that sled, in a good rhythm over those jumps and take 2 or 3 at a time and make playing damage to yourself.
That's a good example of that from the master, Blair Morgan, as he just sort of ramped over one big hole and just dropped it down the other side. Morgan a little celebrating there as he says hello to somebody in the crowd. Once again, a classic Blair Morgan dominant performance. And that line has not changed. When he's not in traffic, he runs that line every lap, high up on that rim, then drops down into the corner. Of course, I would assume as he makes that turn down, not only does he get bite from the bank on that outside ski to help him turn, but the momentum really shoots him down and into that next section very quickly.
It does, and it keeps that, speed going and the momentum, as you mentioned. It just brings him out of that turn, and it gets him lined up for that straightaway, and the jump he's going to take, and a nice rhythm again. And that's the kind of rider he is.
Takes some marvelous lines, takes a quick look back to spot the competition, coming up over that big air jump, but he's moved it off to that right a little bit where that corner is starting to drop down. And, boy, look at that. Absolutely smooth from that, all the way from the jump into this mogul field where there's not a smooth line. But he found that smooth shoot, and that pays off huge.
It does pay off. And Morgan, without question, rides with moguls as well as anybody we've ever seen out here in this track. And he can pick his way through the roughest material.
And he picked his way through it and wins once again. An awesome job by Blair Morgan. But behind him, look at this ride by Todd Tupper, and he is jubilant, and deservedly so. A huge ride for him. Let's take a look at the results. It's Morgan over Tupper. Crapo, as we saw, third. Mackey fourth, and Shield prevails in that battle for fifth.
Impressive second place finish for Todd Tupper.